Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video tonight I am going to be giving you a preview for the Atletico Madrid versus Liverpool game in the Champions League knockout stages, last 16, at Atletico Madrid's ground, and of course this is the first leg. Now I do believe Liverpool are going to beat Atletico Madrid over the two legs. Even though the Champions League isn't a priority for Liverpool, obviously, they're focusing on winning the Premier League. And of course, Liverpool need 5 wins from 12 games, to secure their first ever Premier League title. And obviously, they're going to end their 30-year drought. And, Liverpool are unbeaten in 43 Premier League games, and they haven't lost at Anfield for almost 3 years. So, the Premier League is a priority for them. But I still believe, they are going to beat Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid are enjoying a great season in La Liga. I think they are currently sitting 4th in La Liga. But like I mentioned, Atletico Madrid haven't been the same team since Antoine Griezmann went. Also, Atletico Madrid have got quite a few injuries in their team. They've obviously got Joe Felix out, Hector Herrera, Diego Costa, Kieran Trippier. Don't forget recently Alvaro Morata's just come back from injury for them, so they have had quite a few injuries. Diego Simeone has been at Atletico Madrid for around 8.5 years now, so he has been a long-serving manager. But, I don't know if Liverpool will win the Champions League, but I do believe, they will progress past Atletico Madrid because, Liverpool, take into account, have got a very good pedigree in the Champions League. They have won the Champions League 6 times. So, out of the English clubs, Liverpool have won the most Champions League. They won the Champions League last season against Tottenham 2-0. They also progressed to the final the season before against Real Madrid, but did lose by 3-1. And I do believe, Liverpool will go with a similar team against Atletico Madrid, on Tuesday, as they did do against Norwich yesterday. Liverpool did beat Norwich by, 1-0 yesterday. You saw my match reaction for that game. Liverpool weren't at the best, in that game against Norwich, but, they still did get the win. And, reflects on that win, they have now got, 25 top-flight victories in the Premier League. So they have won 25 out of 26 games. Obviously, Sadio Mane had come off the bench, to obviously, get the only goal of the game. Obviously, Jordan Henderson had got the assist. But, Liverpool weren't at their best. And like I mentioned, I thought Norwich did really, really well. Defensively, Norwich were good. Norwich approached the game, they went with similar tactics, to as they did do against Manchester City early on in the season. So, I've got to be honest, Norwich were really unlucky, and I thought Liverpool would have won more than 1-0. But, Liverpool won't care. They still did, get the win. And yeah, so I think, Liverpool are going to progress past Atletico Madrid, like I mentioned. They are going to progress past them. Atletico Madrid did, make some signings, didn't they, last summer, like I mentioned. They got Thomas Lamar in, I think, for around £50 million. They got Joe Felix in from Benfica. They also got Marcos Llorente from Real Madrid for around £35 million. So they have got quite a few good players in their team of Atletico Madrid. But I just believe that Liverpool are going to have too much for them. I'm also going to give you my starting 11 prediction, what lineup I think, Liverpool are going to go with. I think, they are going to go with a 4-3-3 formation in this game. So I think Liverpool are going to start Allington in goal. Allington is without a doubt, the best goalkeeper in the world at this present time. He made a world-class save in the game against Norwich, did Allington. I think at right back, they are going to go with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, he's Liverpool's first choice right back. And, Trent Alexander-Arnold, has been a Liverpool player, since the age of 6. So, up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with Liverpool. Of course, I think, the centre-back partnership, they'll go with Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk, because that's their first choice centre-halves. I think at left-back, they will go with Andrew Robinson. And I think also Andrew Robinson's done really, really well. Liverpool only paid £3 million for him from Hull. And I think the three they'll go with in the midfield is Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Georginio Wijnaldum. So I think actually, Chamberlain will be dropped. I don't think Chamberlain will start the game. And I think, the three they'll go with up front. Salah on the left, Firmino in the number 9, obviously, and Mane on the right-hand side. So that's the lineup I think, Jurgen Klopp is going to go with, definitely in that. But, Liverpool, of course, are the best team in the world now, definitely in that. And I don't think, this Liverpool are one season wonders. I think, Liverpool will win the league for at least the next 2 to 3 years. Obviously, they'll continue being dominant, because they'll obviously, invest in their squad in the summer with Liverpool. On the other hand, they'll also get rid of players. But, they are going to dominate English football now, at least for the next 10 years or so, are Liverpool. And I think, they are going to start to, replicate, what we did under Alex Ferguson for years on end. Liverpool have won 3 major honours under Jurgen Klopp. They won the FIFA Club World Cup early on this season. They won the Super Cup earlier on this season against Chelsea. And, they won the Champions League at the end of last season. So when they do win the Premier League, that will be Liverpool's 4th major honour under Jurgen Klopp. But like I said, Jurgen Klopp's a very, very good manager. His philosophy is right for Liverpool. Like I mentioned before, he's always had the style of play as Jurgen Klopp. He also had this style of play at Borussia Dortmund. And he also won a couple of titles at Borussia Dortmund, did Jurgen Klopp and that. Liverpool, have obviously spent money over the years. I think since Jurgen Klopp got recommended in, Liverpool have spent over £400 million on recruiting new players in. But Liverpool have not spent as much as us in the last 5 or 6 years. They're obviously, Man City have spent more than Liverpool in the last 5 or 6 years. But, I've got to say, Liverpool are the best team in the world now, without a shadow of a doubt. And, that's, you've got to be honest about that. They are and that. And, Jurgen Klopp, has got a contract with Liverpool until 2024. He will obviously, leave Liverpool eventually. When he does obviously, leave Liverpool, he probably, will make a return back to Germany, will Jurgen Klopp, more than likely. But, Jurgen Klopp is the best manager Liverpool have had in this generation. Like I did say, didn't I, before, Liverpool have had some good managers over the years. They've also had a couple of bad managers. But I've got to say, this is the best Liverpool team I've seen, probably since the 2013-14 season, when they had the likes of Philippe Coutinho, Luis Suarez, Daniel Sturridge. Liverpool were also a very, very good team then. But I do believe, Liverpool are going to finish on 100 points this season minimum. They're probably going to finish on more than 100 points. So in that aspect, they are going to break Manchester City's record from a couple of years ago. And I do believe they can become the Invincibles, can Liverpool. They haven't lost yet in the Premier League. We're the only team this season to take any points from them. So I do believe, they can go undefeated all season. The only team to go undefeated in the Premier League era in one season is Arsenal. And they did that back in 2004, which is around 16 years ago now. And Liverpool, last defeat in the Premier League was to Manchester City last season. So Liverpool have lost like one of their last 60-odd games. So Liverpool, of course, are breaking records. But, with Liverpool, they're a well-built club. They've also built a fantastic squad under Jurgen Klopp. And with Man City, I said, they haven't built a good club of Manchester City. They've just built a good squad of Man City, and this is why they've been so dominant in the last 4 or 5 years. But they're not a big club, they don't have a big fan base like, Liverpool do, and, my club, Manchester United, do. Because us and Liverpool are the 2 most successful teams in England. We are the 2 most successful teams, in England historically, and that. You've got us that have won 20 titles, we've won 13 Premier League, 7 All First Divisions. You've got Liverpool obviously going to win their first Premier League title this season, but it's going to be their 19th overall. So that means in that aspect, they'll only be 1 behind us. But in terms of Premier Leagues, they are still going to be 12 behind us, are Liverpool, because like I mentioned, we are on 13 Premier League titles. So take that into account and that. But, I can see probably Liverpool winning the Premier League next season, to be quite honest with you. I said the only team I think that could stop them is Manchester City. I don't think any other team can stop Liverpool and that. Obviously, reflects on Manchester City's ban from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. That's obviously, going to have a really bad effect on them. Obviously, they've appealed against the decision of Manchester City. They've obviously thrown a lot of money at the appeal, but I don't see Manchester City winning the appeal. So, reflect on this ban they've got for the Champions League for the next 2 seasons. I think, Pep Guardiola is likely to leave in the summer, because obviously Manchester City want to win the Champions League. They haven't won the Champions League in their history, and that's the only, trophy that Manchester City have not currently won. So they can obviously play in this season, but they can't play in it for the next 2 seasons. Manchester City have paid £25 million. They've paid a £25 million fine due to this, but they won't win the appeal because obviously City have broke financial fair play rules. But, reflect on that. it's very, very good news for the teams out of the top four. It's also very good news for Liverpool. So, yeah. So, I can see Liverpool, like I mentioned, dominating, English football for the next 9 or 10 years. Probably more than likely the Premier League will be the only trophy Liverpool will win this season, more than likely. But, they can still win the Champions League. I think they will progress past Atletico Madrid, to be quite honest with you. I really do believe they will. The FA Cup, they can win that, but I don't think they will because, obviously, the FA Cup isn't a priority for Liverpool. Obviously, they've done well to get to the 5th round of Liverpool. They have got Chelsea in the 5th round. More than likely, Liverpool will go out because, Jurgen Klopp will probably, he'll go with some first-team players, but he'll also play quite a few inexperienced players, will Klopp. I think he'll play a similar team, as he did do against Shrewsbury in the first match. That's what I think Jurgen Klopp, will do. But Liverpool have not won the FA Cup since 2006. And I hate to praise Liverpool because, I'm a Manchester United fan. But Liverpool, the players a unit, the players a team, their football is expansive, they score goals, they create chances, and they have got a lot of good players in their team. And I don't think, Liverpool they haven't only got a good senior squad, they've also got a lot of good young players that are coming through with Liverpool. They've got that Nico Williams who's done well, that Curtis Jones, he's on 2 senior goals, Harvey Elliott, that Larouche, don't really know much about that Larouche, to be quite honest with you. They've got Adrian as their first choice goalkeeper. That Liam Miller seems okay. Van der Berg. Liverpool have got a lot of young players that are upcoming, as well. So take that into account. But Liverpool have come close on quite a few occasions to winning the Premier League. They was unlucky not to win it last season. They finished on 97 points. They enjoyed one good season under Brendan Rodgers. They came close to winning it under Brendan Rodgers. They came close back in 2009. So Liverpool have come close on quite a few occasions. But, Liverpool are a massive club. Like I said, with Athletico Madrid, I still think they're a pretty decent team. They also looked much better, when they had Anton Griezmann and that. I can't remember the name of Atletico Madrid Stadium well. I can't pronounce it, but the first leg is at Atletico Madrid's ground. Obviously, the second leg will be at Anfield. I don't actually know the exact date when the second leg is at Anfield. But I do probably believe Liverpool are going to progress to the last 8. He will go with similar teams as he did do against Norwich. But I think he'll obviously, make a couple of changes, will Jurgen Klopp. He will make a couple of changes and that. But, Liverpool, like I mentioned, only need 5 wins, to clinch their first ever Premier League title. And, Liverpool, of course, have had quite a few injuries this season, but the vast majority of their absentees are now back. Chamberlain's just recently come back from injury. He's rejuvenated himself since he's just come back. Also, too, Fabinho came back not too long ago. Also, too, Milner's just come back because he didn't play against Norwich. Well, he didn't start, but he did come on as a substitute. Fabinho also came on as a substitute. Sadio Mane's just come back for Liverpool because he was out injured for quite some time. He made an impact when he came on against Norwich. And I can't think of a forward that's in better form than Sadio Mane at the moment. I think he's one of the best in the Premier League. Very, very good player is Sadio Mane. I've also got the same perception on Firmino because I think he's also done really, really well for them. I've got to be honest with you, I think Firmino and Mane are in, a much better form than Salah. I don't think Salah's been that good this season. He can still score goals. Like I mentioned, he's still a very, very good player. But he just hasn't seemed to have that clinical element as Mohamed Salah. So I think Mane and Firmino have been in much better form than him. Joe Matip has just recently come back from injury. Also, too, Nathaniel Klein and Shaqiri are still out at the moment, with injury. But they're only Liverpool's absentees now, Nathaniel Klein and Shaqiri. In terms of the transfers, of course, Liverpool are going to want to make, obviously, signings in the summer. They have got quite a few players on their agenda, of Liverpool. Obviously, they wanted to try and make more signings in the January transfer when they did Liverpool. They wanted to make more signings than Takuma Minamino, effect on the injuries they had. They wanted to cover up for their injuries, but realistically, Liverpool didn't need any signings, but they wanted to get cover up for their injuries and that. They did sign Takuma Minamino in January. Obviously, they paid $7.25 million for him from Red Bull Salzburg. He's had a few opportunities, but I think he'll get more opportunities next season will Takumi Minamino. That's the only player, Liverpool did sign. Liverpool, like I mentioned, will get rid of players in the summer. Also they'll generate, funds for some of their departures. Obviously, I think Klein will go because he's very injury prone. Doesn't really get in Liverpool's team. I also think Adam Lallana will be moved on. I think Liverpool are at risk of losing him on a free transfer at the end of the season. Also, too, I think, Dejan Lovren will be moved on. He's a backup at that centre-half, is Dejan Lovren. I think Origi and Shaqiri will also be moved on. They are good there as backup options. Shaqiri tends to make an impact from the sub. And Origi, he's a good backup to the likes of Salah, Firmino and Mane. So I think, they'll move Shaqiri and Dick Origi on. Joe Matip, he may be moved on in the future, but I don't think he'll leave in the summer. I think, Georgina Wijnaldum will be moved on in the future, but not in the summer, So there's around 3 or 4 players at least that Liverpool, will get rid of in the summer, and that maybe Naby Keita, because Naby Keita obviously, doesn't get in the team. I know he was playing against Norwich, and I think he had a pretty decent game, to be fair, did Naby Keita, but I think he could be moved on in the summer. If not in the summer, in the future, definitely. Jordan Henderson, I think he'll stay. Jordan Henderson, he's rejuvenated himself. In the game against Norwich, though, he did thread a lot of long balls, did Jordan Henderson, to be fair. James Milner, I think they'll keep him. I know he's aging up and that, but James Milner is still going very, very strong for Liverpool. But yeah, they will get rid of players in the summer. But the players that are on Liverpool's agenda, like I mentioned, they've expressed an interest in Kylian Mbappe from PSG. I don't see Kylian Mbappe leaving PSG this summer, to be quite honest with you. I don't see the point in Liverpool getting him in anywhere because, he wouldn't be assured first team opportunities. He wouldn't really get in the team because obviously Liverpool have got Salah, Firmino and Mane as their attacking trio. So how would Mbappe get in the team? The only way he'd get in the team is if Liverpool were willing to sell either Salah, Firmino or Mane. That's the only way, he would get in. And perhaps maybe in the future, they will sell one of them players, will Liverpool, probably likely to be Mohamed Salah. Liverpool would generate a lot of money for Salah, even if they sold him if they sold him in 2 years' time from now, they'd still get a lot of money for Mohamed Salah. They only paid around £35 million for him from Roma. But that's the only way Kylian Mbappe, would get in the team. Mbappe is, one of the most talented elite players on the planet, don't get me wrong, reflecting on his good run of performances. But he did confirm that PSG had received around four offers from 4 sides. My club, Man United, have been in for him. Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona. I think if he is to leave PSG, he will go to Real Madrid. Will Kylian Mbappe. PSG have given their overarching view on it, and they've got no intentions of selling him. PSG have basically come out and, said they've no intentions of selling him. They are willing to offer him a contract worth around £41 million a year, which equates to around £750,000 a week, which would make him the highest paid player at PSG and one of the highest paid players in the world. He'd be the third, just behind Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's like the second most expensive, player in the world, just behind Neymar is Mbappe, but Mbappe is only the age of 21. But I don't see how he'd get in Liverpool's team. And, he's going to cost in the excess of around, £200 million. I don't think Liverpool can afford that unless, they generated that much for selling quite a few of their imperative players. So if they sold Salah, Firmino and that, they'd probably generate around £200 million for that, definitely. But obviously, Liverpool aren't going to do that. And I think Mbappe is under contract with PSG until 2022. Obviously, it said the other week in the media that they've identified Kai Havertz as their #1 priority target. Possibly they could get Kai Havertz in. I think it said that Bayern Munich have been interested in him. Again, I don't see how he'd get in the team, but he would get in the team on the other hand, if Liverpool did sell quite a few of their midfielders. So if they get rid of Kai and they get rid of Lallana and that, then he would be able to get in the mix, would Kai Havertz. Up until this point, Kai Havertz has spent the entirety of his career with Bayer Leverkusen, and he's only at the age of 20, but I think he's been in their senior squad since 2016. But again, he cost Liverpool over £100 million. I think Leverkusen quoted out saying that they wanted around £107 million and that. So say if Liverpool were to get Mbappe and Kai Havertz in, that would be over £300 million on two players. And I can't see, Liverpool willing to pay that. And they can't afford that anywhere, can Liverpool, let's be honest. But yeah, they're the players on their agenda. They are still in for Jadon Sancho, but there's no point in getting Jadon Sancho. Wayne again wouldn't get in the team. And I just don't think he'd fit Liverpool's system, would Jadon Sancho, to be quite honest with you. He wouldn't fit Liverpool's system, But there you go. So, that's, Liverpool's transfer news. But I think they'll make probably at least 2 signings in the summer transfer window and that. Because obviously, they do want to keep the consistency up, do Liverpool. So, yeah, I think they'll beat Atletico Madrid like I mentioned. I think they will beat them. And, I think Atletico Madrid are capable of getting a couple of goals past them. But I think, Liverpool are going to have too much for them. Maybe if they'd have been versus Madrid or, Barcelona, then maybe my perceptions would have been different, because like I said, the Champions League's not a priority for them. They were superb in the Champions League last season, where Liverpool, I don't think the final was so good, but, the semi-final was unbelievable. Liverpool progressed past Barcelona. They overcome a 3-goal deficit from the first leg. And, they won 4-0 in the second leg. And no one saw that coming. That was an absolutely tremendous comeback. But on the other hand, the Ajax and Tottenham game were also very, very good in the semi-final last season. Because that was also, very, very good. Didn't Tottenham overcome a 2-goal deficit or a 3-goal deficit, if I can remember rightly? So it was an all-English final last season. I think that was the first time it was an all-English final since 2008. Between us and Chelsea. So take that into account. So, take that into account. But I think the only games Liverpool have lost this season, this is in all competitions, I think the only games they've lost was Villa in the Carabao Cup when they lost 5-0. But of course, they went with all their under-23s. And I think, they did lose to Napoli, was it in the group stage, if I can remember rightly. But I think they're the only games that Liverpool have lost this season. Prior to that, they haven't lost, Liverpool. So, they've been absolutely, sensational of Liverpool, definitely. They have been absolutely, sensational and that. So, yeah, that's your preview for the Atletico Madrid-Liverpool game in the first leg in the Champions League knockouts. Last 16. And and you've obviously, you saw my starting 11 prediction earlier on. The prediction, obviously, may be wrong. I'm obviously not only predicting it, but that's the possible lineup, I think Jurgen Klopp's going to go with, because Liverpool mainly go with that 4-3-3 anywhere, because it seems to suit their standards, does that 4-3-3 formation. Maybe they have gone, with a 4-2-3-1 here and there, but they usually go with a 4-3-3. Totally comparison with my club, Man United, because, we usually go with the 4-2-3-1 formation, and that doesn't really suit our standards. I think my club look better with 3 at the back, from my opinion, and that. But Liverpool usually do go with that 4-3-3 formation, definitely. Yes, they're currently doing that. So yeah, that is the latest news regarding the preview and everything else. I think Liverpool is Liverpool's next league game. Is it West Ham, if I'm right, or is it Watford? I will have to currently look that up. But I think they'll definitely win the next league game, so that will extend their unbeaten run to 44 in the Premier League. It will extend their unbeaten run to 44. And and they've got Chelsea coming up soon in the FA Cup 5th round. If they was to progress past Chelsea, that would be unbelievable indeed. So yeah, so now we'll move on. So I've been talking with you today as well, haven't I, about the ongoing situation with Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and obviously Massimiliano Allegri and that, because I've been reading reports today, like I mentioned on one of my videos earlier on, and it says obviously Massimiliano Allegri is in pole position to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. I think if we are to get him in, we'll recommend Massimiliano Allegri in the summer, because it says we're going to make a move for Massimiliano Allegri in the summer. But reportedly he's interested in coming to Manchester United. There were reports coming out saying that Massimiliano Allegri had agreed a deal to join a Premier League club in the summer, but it didn't get revealed who that Premier League club was. Probably more than likely is Manchester United and that. But, you know, the rumours had died down for a while regarding Massimiliano Allegri, because obviously there's been a lot of narratives going out about Mauricio Pochettino becoming Man United's next manager. I heard about the rumours about Massimiliano Allegri coming in earlier on in the season. You know, I think this was after our 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. That's when I heard a lot of narratives regarding Massimiliano Allegri. Of course, a few other clubs have been in for him, PSG, AC Milan, who he used to manage. There was also talks about him possibly going back to Juventus, but I don't see that happening. You know, Massimiliano Allegri has been managerless since the end of last season. And obviously, you know, if we had to get him in the summer, that would mean he would have been managerless for 12 months. He endured 5 years with Juventus, did Allegri. And, you know, he won 5 Serie A's, 4 Coppa Italians. And, you know, he progressed Juventus to 2 Champions League finals, but lost both of them. He hasn't ever managed in the Premier League up to this point. He has spent the entirety of his managerial career in Italy's Massimiliano Allegri. But he has been learning English in preparation for his potential move. Obviously, he can't go to Arsenal because Arsenal have just got Arteta in. They won 4-0 today against Newcastle, by the way. And also, Tottenham, not too long ago, got Jose Mourinho in. So the only option in the Premier League for Massimiliano Allegri is Manchester United. If we do recommend Massimiliano Allegri in, he will be our 5th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. But I think the rumours have now come out regarding Massimiliano Allegri, because I think it's unlikely now that we'll get Pochettino in. Obviously, you know, before Man City's ban from the Champions League occurred, obviously it was looking very, very likely that Pochettino was going to be coming in at the end of the season to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Pochettino did reveal that he wanted to come to Manchester United, and he said, reflecting on his sacking from Tottenham last year, he wanted an immediate return to management and that. And, you know, we've been long admirers of Pochettino. You know, we was in for Pochettino at the end of last season, after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December 2018. We was in for Mauricio Pochettino, and that was a mistake we made by not recommending Pochettino in after the sacking of Jose Mourinho. But, you know, we just decided to go with Solskjaer instead. And the main explanation why we give Solskjaer the job on a permanent basis is reflecting, you know, what he did when he was the interim manager in that 3-month period. But Solskjaer was lucky in the first place, you know, to even get the interim job. But, you know, we should have actually, you know, got Mauricio Pochettino in. But, you know, like I said to you earlier on today, Pochettino reportedly now is the favourite to take over at Manchester City. Also, City have got Brendan Rodgers on their agenda to replace Pep Guardiola and that. So he may now go to Manchester City, Pochettino. I'd probably prefer Pochettino at Man United than Allegri. The only main explanation is because Pochettino is well proven in the Premier League and that, and he's managing the Premier League. Allegri hasn't. But there's another comparison. Allegri's won silverware, you know, Pochettino hasn't won anything. So that is my element of concern regarding Mauricio Pochettino. But we need a change of management at Manchester United, like I mentioned, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the long-term solution for the club. You know, he's been under intense pressure this season, you know, because we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years, you know. And I think we have made it clear, and I think, you know, actually the Glazers have come out earlier on today. This is coming from the Daily Express, and they're saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be sacked as Manchester United manager if we fail to qualify for, you know, European football. But we know now 5th spot is a Champions League spot, so hopefully, you know, we can get 5th spot this season. But I'd still like Manchester United to finish in that top 4. But, you know, Solskjaer won't last at Manchester United, and definitely, you know, won't see his 2.5-year deal out that he's got remaining at the football club. Obviously, we'll have to pay to get rid of Solskjaer, of course. You know, he's been here over a year now with Solskjaer, and I just feel as though he's had long enough at the club. Solskjaer, for me, his own perception says if he's given the time he wants, he can build a team like Jurgen Klopp, and, you know, he can, you know, emulate into next Jurgen Klopp. But obviously, you know, that's not going to happen because Solskjaer is too inexperienced as a manager, and it isn't going to work out for him at Manchester United. He was a great player for us, don't get me wrong, but as a manager, he is too inexperienced. And I've also got other element of concerns about him as well. There's not only problems with the management, there's problems where the club's been run for several years, there's problems with the chairman, there's problems with the Glazers, because the Glazers have been generating money out of this club for so long. Also, too, you know, there's problems with the board. I was also reading reports today as well, and it did say Solskjaer now figures his job because Ed Woodward has failed to secure the 4 signings that I requested in the January transfer window, because Solskjaer did reveal that he wanted to make 4 signings in January. But we only made 2 signings in January, and that was Bruno Fernandes for 68 million, and we got Odion Ighalo in on loan until the end of the season and that. But as you all know, Liverpool, City are strides ahead of us at the moment, and it's going to take us several years, to emulate to their level, definitely in that. We won't win the league for several years. In the next couple of seasons, I think our aspirations will definitely, be that top 4. And, there's also more players that need to leave Man United in the summer. I think Solskjaer has confirmed there will be more departures in the summer, so take that into account and that. But yeah, so that's everything to update you with. There will be more videos coming up tomorrow. I've kept you up to date of the news anyway, of what's been going on in the mainstream media today. I've kept you up to date, obviously, with Allegri, just as I've just done now. Also, I kept you up to date, with the news regarding Paul Pogba, because a lot of United fans were infuriated with, what Raiola's recently come out and said regarding him. And I've kept you up to date, with the transfers and that. So, yeah. So, anyway, guys, drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.